Hello, I'm Kris from the FPL Dude and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video for the 2020-2021 season. In today's video we'll be talking to you about those best players that have very good potential to do good now to the end of the season. I will go to many teams that have pretty good fixtures and many teams that have had pretty good form, and I will discuss all of the best players that you should potentially target. If you're new around here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and if you have anything FPL related that you want to ask me, feel free to do it down in the comment section. We'll try to give you a fast reply. Thank you. And let's begin. The first team you should potentially target are Liverpool. They're playing against West Brom, Burnley and Crystal Palace as three of their last fixtures now in Gameweek 36, 37 and 38. I believe they have few good players you could potentially go for. The first one is Salah. He does seem to be very essential and very important player for you to be able to do good now to the end of the season, as he does seem to be the only player that one of two players that seem to be offering us very good captaincy potential in all of the fixtures now to the end of the season. As to the next player that I believe have very good potential is Jota, as he does seem to be a very cheap way into that informed Liverpool midfield right now. I believe that they will only continue to do good because they are actually fighting to stay in that 7th place at least now to the end of the season. As for the last player you could potentially go for from this team is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I do believe that he has very good potential to do good, mainly because he has very good clean sheet potential in most of these upcoming fixtures, but as well as very good attacking FPL potential, because he's actually a very attacking minded fullback that delivers tons of balls into the box. So yes, these three guys are definitely three players that you should take a look if you do not own them, because I do believe that they will actually do very good now to the end of the season. The next team to target are Leeds United. They play against Burnley, Southampton and West Brom now as three of their last fixtures of the season. I believe that Leeds United have been the team that have been overperforming a lot this season. I believe that mainly happened because they do have a very strong team to go for. The first one you could potentially go for is Meslier, as he does seem to be very good a goalkeeper. He has been very good throughout the whole season. He does seem to offer us bonus for saves made, mainly because that Leeds defense have not been one of the best in the Premier League, but I still believe that Meslier has emerged as a wonderful goalkeeper. The next player you could potentially go for is Dallas. Now, his clean sheet potential might not be the highest because he plays for the Leeds team, but he's actually a midfielder, so he does offer us increased attacking potential that is seemed to be much higher than any other defenders now in the Premier League. He already has 8 goals to his name, I believe, and around 3 assists. The next player to target is Rafinha. He was previously injured, but he did make a comeback now against Tottenham. He did make a comeback in style with an assist as well. So I do believe that Rafinha is actually only going to continue to do good, mainly because they have wonderful fixtures. The next player you could potentially go for is Bamford. Now Bamford seemed to be even an essential player to the end of the season. He is very good striker, has been performing very good at a very high level throughout the whole season. We can see that he is a guy that can score a goal, but as well as assist a goal. So I believe that Bamford does seem to be a very good player for you to go for now, for you to be able to do good to the end of the season. As for the next team that I could recommend for you to target are Everton. They are playing against Sheffield at home, Wolves at home, then is Manchester City away, but that last Manchester City game is actually going to be much easier than we believe, as I believe that Manchester City is going to have won the league by then, so it is going to be a very pointless game for them to risk injury injuries or risk red cards or just risk a game that is completely pointless to them. The first player you could potentially go for is Pickford. He has been very good goalkeeper throughout the whole season. His form have improved now in the last couple of game weeks. I believe that he has very good clean sheet potential, mainly because he plays against Sheffield and Wolves. Wolves have been completely out of form. Sheffield have been the team that has scored least amount of Premier League goals this season. They have scored least amount of Premier League goals in the last 5 and 10 games as well. So I do believe that Sheffield United does not have that firepower to actually score against Everton. The next players you could potentially go for is Coleman. He is very cheap defender. He has been very creative now in the last couple of game weeks, and I believe that he is only going to continue to do good, mainly because they have good fixtures. The next one is Dinger. Now this is a defender that has been playing very attacking minded throughout the whole season. It is now only in the last 5 and 10 game weeks he has been performing a bit worse than Coleman, to be honest, and his price is much higher, but he has been performing at an elite level throughout the whole season. As for the last player you could potentially go for is Rodriguez. I believe that he is going to make a comeback from injury even now in Gameweek 35, so he should most definitely be fit and ready to play for Gameweek 36 and onwards. I believe that he has very good potential because he does seem to be the most creative midfielder and attacking minded player they have right now. Now, if we want to try something different, then we could potentially even focus on Burnley. Burnley have been overperforming this season as well. I do believe they have few good defenders to go for, few good attackers to go for as well. Pope have been their #1 goalkeeper now throughout the whole season. I believe that he does possess very good potential to do good. Perhaps not now to the end of the season, not in the first or the second game where they play against Leeds and Liverpool. This is where I believe their clean sheet potential seemed to be very slim, but in the last one against Sheffield United they do have amazing clean sheet potential. Now, if you do not want to go for their goalkeepers and just chase that clean sheet potential, now you could probably even go for Lowton. It does seem to be their most creative defender, him and Tarkowski, but Tarkowski does cost around 1 million more than Lowton, so there is no reason for any of us to actually go and overspend on a Burnley defender. We do not want to spend that much money because this is not actually a defense we can trust. As for the next player you could potentially go for is Vidra. He does seem to be one of those cheapest starting strikers. I do believe that he has been overperforming. He has been doing very well now in the last couple of game weeks. And as for the last player you could potentially go for is Wood. He has found himself actually in a phenomenal form now in the last couple of game weeks, where he actually was able to get involved in 8 goals now for the last 5. That's 5 goals and 3 FPL assists. I only believe that he is going to continue to do good because we have seen that Leeds, Liverpool and Sheffield United actually are 3 teams that have had terrible defense throughout the whole season. I have to say that I'm sorry about this comment, Leeds, Liverpool and Sheffield United fans, but I do believe that these 3 teams need to sort out their defense to be able to do good next year, especially Sheffield United, if they now need to fight to get to the Premier League again. But just before I move on, I would like to remind you to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and please don't forget to subscribe if that is something you have not done already, as my goal for this season is 1000 subscribers. I seem to be very close reaching it, so guys, please help me and become one of those people that supported this page and channel for us to grow together. The next team you could potentially target, because they have wonderful fixtures to the end of the season, are West Ham. They play against Brighton, West Brom and Southampton, so you should potentially expect a lot of clean sheet potential. Very good clean sheet potential, and very good attacking effort and potential. They could potentially even score more than 6 or 7 goals in this one. We have seen that West Ham are actually a very dangerous team to target. The first player you could potentially target is Creswell. He does seem to be their most creative defender. He is very attacking minded, pardon me. He does seem to possess very good clean sheet potential, as I've said, because they have very good fixtures. Creswell is having amazing season himself. I believe that he has around 10 FPL assists to his name already. The next player you could potentially go for is Kufal. He has pretty similar attacking ability and potential as Cresswell, a bit slighter that is, but he does seem to cost around 1 million less than Cresswell, so if you do not have the money to go for Cresswell, then you could potentially even settle for Kufal. The next player has been Lingard. I believe that he has been in a phenomenal form now for the last couple of game weeks. I believe that he is only going to continue, as we've seen that West Ham team is now complete and whole and fit and ready to play. Previously they had Cresswell, Antonio and few other key players injured. Now if you do not want to go for their midfielders, they actually have one wonderful differential striker that has very good potential, and that is Antonio. He was previously injured, but he did made a comeback now in game week 34 where he actually was able to get involved in 2 goals and actually scored 2 goals for that particular game week, so his comeback was a screamer. I believe that these, whoever you go for, have very good potential, mainly because they have been performing at a very good level throughout the whole season, and now because they have those wonderful fixtures. The next team that you could potentially target are Tottenham. This is not a team that that is having those best fixtures now to the end of the season. It's Wolves, Aston Villa and Leicester. So Aston Villa and Leicester seem to be very tricky fixtures. We do not know exactly what to expect in these games. We've only seen that Leicester defense have been pretty weak now in the last couple of game weeks. I mean, they did allow 5 goals from Newcastle now. That is, nobody allows 5 goals from Newcastle, especially not an elite team as Leicester. That was terrible, especially now at the end of the season where everybody knows what they're doing, everybody is focused, everybody is concentrated, everybody have learned how to play their role or their position. So losing this big is probably one of the worst things you could do at the end of the season. Okay, at the beginning you're trying a lot of tactics, you're new, perhaps new manager like Arteta or something similar, but now to lose that big against a team that has almost absolutely no firepower, just pretty terrible. So I do believe that Tottenham does seem to have very good potential to do good even against Aston Villa and Leicester. They have Kane. He has been their best player throughout the whole season, even though now he has not been doing anything after make a comeback from injury. I still believe that he is going to do good now in those 3 fixtures to the end of the season. As for the next player you could potentially go for is Son. He does seem to have increased in form now for the last couple of game weeks. He's much cheaper than Kane, so you could potentially just go for Son and be down with it, as he does place against Wolves, Aston Villa and Leicester. He might not be the one that has that of a good captaincy potential, but he does have very good potential to do good. As for the last player you could potentially go for, that is Bale. He is not a player that me myself personally would ever take a look at, because he's not a guaranteed starter. He does not have guaranteed minutes, but when he plays, he is playing extremely good. So if you want to risk it and go for Bale, that's up to you. You could do that, but that is not a move that I would ever do. As for the last team, you could focus now on Newcastle. They're playing against Manchester City. That first fixture is very difficult because Manchester City have been playing very good. Then they play against Sheffield United and against Fulham. This is where I do believe they have very good potential to score goals, as we've seen that they have amazing firepower now and have had that against Leicester in game week 35, but I still believe that they are going to continue to do that, especially Ricci, as he does seem to be a very cheap and starting midfielder that seems to be pretty much in form right now. And as for the next player that you could potentially go for is Saint Maxim. He has been their most creative player when it comes to attempted assists. He has been the most attacking-minded player when it comes to total shots. So yes, his expected FPL return does seem to be the highest out of all Newcastle players, and just because they have pretty good fixtures, I actually do believe that these 2 players are going to continue to do good now, even to the end of the season. So if you thought this video was of any help, then please do give it thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if that is something you have not done already. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.